As the Apostle Paul speaks to the members of the church in Corinth, he likes to use a lot of metaphors, a lot of imagery, to give them some understanding of who they are, what their purpose is. For we are God's fellow workers, you are God's field, God's building. According to the grace of God given to me, like a skilled master builder, I laid a foundation, and someone else is building upon it. Let each one take care how he builds upon it. For no one can lay a foundation other than that which is laid, which is Jesus Christ. Now if anyone builds on the foundation with gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, or straw, each one's work will become manifest. For the day will disclose it, because it will be revealed by fire, and the fire will test what sort of work each one has done. If the work that anyone has built on the foundation survives, he will receive a reward. If anyone's work is burned up, he will suffer loss, though he himself will be saved, but only as through fire. Do you not know that you are God's temple, and that God's Spirit dwells in you? If anyone destroys God's temple, God will destroy him, for God's temple is holy, and you are that temple. So Paul begins with the imagery of being a field and being a fellow worker and being God's building. So as he is working very, very hard to transition people's thinking away from this idea of the Jews are God's people, God's temple is in Jerusalem, the Mosaic law must be followed, there is a Jew-Gentile distinction. That was the mindset of the Jews, of people who knew the Jews and how they thought of themselves. But Paul is trying to pull the people of God away from that thinking, because no longer is being part of the people of God about being Jewish, about following the Mosaic law, about being involved in the sacrificial system inside the temple in Jerusalem. All of that has been made obsolete because of what Jesus accomplished through his life, death, resurrection, and ascension. So Paul is communicating that those who have embraced Christ, who are baptized into him, they are the temple of God. It's not anymore about a physical temple. And each person needs to be aware of and understand that the works that they do will have a direct impact upon the quality of their eternity. Paul clearly says that if anyone's work is burned up, he will suffer loss, though he himself will be saved, but only as through fire. So, using the imagery of, obviously, if you put wood, hay, or straw into fire, it will be consumed and turned into nothing, into ash, basically. But if you pass gold or silver through fire, it becomes purified and is made even better than it was when it first went in. So Paul is using all this imagery to communicate that it's not just enough to say, yes, I'm a Christian, and then go about your life distracted and entertaining yourself. The life of the believer needs to be one of loving God, loving neighbor, and pursuing holiness, so that those works, as Paul describes them, are like gold, silver, and precious stones, and will receive reward in eternity. So it's good works. It's not a matter of if you do enough good things, then you'll get to go to heaven. That's not the case at all. As Paul says, everyone will be saved, but the quality of that life depends upon the works that you do. So the more you direct your life, the more you control your passions, the more that you fight against your sinful inclinations, the more you'll become like Christ. The more your good works will actually be good gold, silver, precious stones that will gain you closer and closer access to God. The more we become like Christ, the more we will love holiness, the more we will be inclined towards wanting to draw near and near to God as we go into eternity.